This turn to Iran, to interventionism, to me feels like the biggest betrayal of a political movement I've ever seen in my life.
And it's really interesting to me how it split the conservative right pretty well down the middle. Where you now have people lining up, whacking each other in a way that, again, would have seemed unthinkable a few years ago. What do you think is going on there? Is it the Israel issue?
Well, that's
pulling
a
them
big
apart?
part of it, but I also think it's preparation for the inevitability of what comes next.
Why is it that Israel is becoming increasingly unpopular as a country in the United States, to the extent that 60% of Americans now have a negative view of Israel? That would have been unthinkable 20 years ago.
I think people feel very uncomfortable about the nature of the relationship. I think Netanyahu clearly has a political agenda that we don't feel benefits America. He's constantly in the White House convincing Trump that that agenda is part of whatever movement Trump has created, this populist movement. Nobody agrees with that. That you know, there's a very small group of people. And one of Trump's best ideas, because I grew up during the Iraq War and Afghanistan, was that we should stay out of unwinnable foreign conflicts and focus on the economic well-being of the American people. And that's been completely thrown out the window.
Which is why I don't understand this whole Iran thing from a political, never mind anything else, from the political economic aspect of this decision by Trump. And I said it from day one. There seemed to be no clear end game here. Was it regime change? Was it preventing nuclear weapon? Was it this other? But here we are, several months into this thing now. No sign of it ending, no sign of any regime change, no sign of the people rising up. Iran suddenly discovering if they can just control the Strait of Hormuz, they can hold everyone to economic ransom. And if they pop a few rockets up at their neighbors, they can damage their business models potentially for a very long time. And here's Trump, never more unpopular in the polls personally. The economy is really struggling from this. Cost of living is going up again when it was coming down the right way. And he's got midterms in November. And you think, none of this makes sense to me.
None of it makes sense. I feel as if he thought he had to do it. And for whatever reason, people can make up their own mind.
Do you think that was pressure from Netanyahu?
I think it was pressure from Netanyahu.
Yeah, I do.
I think I would say that that's a pretty rational way to think about it. I don't believe that Trump thought this was in America's best interest. I think he was kind of convinced one way or another to enter the war without a plan. I mean, the article in the New York Times with Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman, they're great reporters. You have, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. You have CIA. You have people going, this is not going to be easy. And we probably cannot affect regime change. But you have, and basically saying the Israelis oversell Mr. President. That's what they're doing. And they're talking to Trump like a real estate developer from New York. They're saying to him, they're overselling. They're using us. All of the words that should have popped in his mind and went, right, we are being, dragged into this. But he still went ahead and did it. So I don't know.
I think he regrets it now.
I think he regrets it now. And I think he thought it was going to be like Venezuela or like killing Soleimani or any of these things.
And also when you get into Tim, yesterday he made another post where he's talking again about annihilating everyone in Iran.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's like, that's number 6 times.
Too much.
It's the boy that cried wolf. It's the emperor with no clothes. If you're not careful, for the president of the United States to keep threatening Armageddon and then nothing happens.
And then we don't want to put him in the box where he actually does something insane.
Right.
So by saying this, and we go, well, you're crying wolf, we don't want to press him.
No, I agree.
We don't want to do that.
I'm looking at him, and I agree with you. I've known him a long time, and I'm looking at him thinking he now knows he's got to get out of this. But extricating the United States out of this is not easy.
No, I think he just should threaten them for the next 3 years. Threaten every couple of months.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing it, keep kicking it down, keep threatening.
You know what? It's actually not a bad strategy.
It's a great strategy.
Yeah.
Annihilation's coming. Yeah. It's all over soon. You won't have air to breathe. Whatever he's going to do, keep truth socialing it, keep saying it, don't do it. But I think that's the strategy now.
What's been your Trump journey arc from when he was, doing The Apprentice? I was on it, won it with him, to then becoming a politician, then winning that 2016 election, then
I think
coming out and then winning again.
I think there's the mass migration of people from one place to another is the biggest issue of our time. Whether people want to admit it or not, not everybody talks about it in an eloquent way, but it is the biggest issue of our time. How to assimilate people into an existing economic, political, cultural sphere is very difficult. Trump came out and talked about that issue, and again, in a way that offended a lot of people and drove a lot of people crazy. It's a big issue in the UK. Farage is about to potentially win with this issue, right? So he came out, and to me it was very interesting because the working class in the United States, and I think the working class here, feels like they've fallen behind tremendously.
Yeah.
And if you look at cities like London and New York, a lot of people are buying property that don't even live there. It's a boon for luxury real estate. It's a boon for finance. But really, people that, are, British born, of all races, of all religions, but have called this country home forever, feel like they're losing ground. That was happening in the United States. Trump gave a voice to that, which no one else had. He also gave a voice to this idea that going around the world and wasting money on pointless, unwinnable, largely Middle Eastern wars was bankrupting America, saddling our children with debt. These were his two main salient points.
Have you voted for him at all?
I didn't vote in the last, no, I didn't vote.
You didn't first time
I was in Texas doing a podcast with Joe Rogan, and I'm registered in New York, so I was there election day. In New York, your vote doesn't really matter.
Would you have voted for him?
Probably, yeah. I think certainly the last time, I think Kamala Harris and Biden were a disaster. I believe that. But again, this turn to Iran, to interventionism, to me feels like the biggest betrayal of a political movement I've ever seen in my life.
And it's really interesting to me how it split the conservative right pretty well down the middle. Where you now have people lining up, whacking each other in a way that, again, would have seemed unthinkable a few years ago. What do you think is going on there? Is it the Israel issue?
Well, that's
pulling
a
them
big
apart?
part of it, but I also think it's preparation for the inevitability of what comes next.
Of life after Trump.
Life after Trump. And a lot of people feel Vance is not a viable candidate and he won't win. So obviously you look at a guy like Joe Kent who resigned, he clearly has political aspirations. Maybe Tucker does, I don't know. But there's a lot of talk about that. There's the preparation for what comes next.
Polymarket has J.D. Vance at 36% now, Marco Rubio 25%, Tucker Carlson at 7%.
Yeah.
We've had the host of The Apprentice serve 2 terms as American president. Tucker Carlson, whether people love him or hate him or don't even care about him, he's incredibly televisual. He's incredibly eloquent, fast-talking, inspirational to many people.
Yeah.
Is it unthinkable that someone like him could become the new face of the Republican Party?
Certainly not. I don't think it's unthinkable. I think it would really depend on if the country was going to give any Republican a shot after this. I think Trump's damaged the Republican brand in the near future for years to come. If the Democrats don't screw it up, which they can.
It's always in their locker.
It's always they can always screw it up.
And I don't see the thing is, I keep saying to people, I don't see who the new Clinton, Obama, that kind of left of center, but appealing, charismatic, smart, politically savvy
that person exists,
where is that person on the Democrats?
They need to not pop their head up, because if they pop their head up right now, they're going to get attacked for whatever reason for the next 2 years. They need to stay wisely quiet up until the moment when they have to announce.